Welcome to the Sweetness of Trial podcast and commentary. My name is Chuck Malone, and I am the author of the book, The Sweetness of Trial, a perspective to help you win, not just endure. Available in both paperback and Kindle on the Amazon book platform. Written by Charles P. Malone. Welcome to the Sweetness of Trial book reading and commentary. My name is Chuck Malone, and I am the author of the book, The Sweetness of Trial. Today's episode 6, part 4, pages 65 through 70, is titled, But What If You Choose Not To? Oh, welcome, my friends. I'm so glad that you chose to be with us today. Remember, we've been talking about choice. And today we're going to talk about another choice. After many years of serving his fried chicken in a local restaurant and developing a secret recipe, Colonel Harland Sanders reached the age of 65 and began to collect Social Security. So we're on page 65 right now. What a coincidence. You know, when he realized his check in the amount of $100 would not cover all his expenses, he wondered how he would survive financially. What many people do not know is that Harland's father died at an early age, creating a severe hardship on the family's ability to survive. Harland was too young to work outside the home, so the household chores of cooking and cleaning fell upon his shoulders while his mother worked to support the family. This trial allowed Harland to develop unique cooking skills, which would likely never have surfaced had he not been forced to learn them. Harland chose the entrepreneurial path after working in several dead-end jobs. He ran a service station in Kentucky and began serving his special brand of fried chicken to his customers in the small dining area inside the station. In time, his dining room business was relocated to a restaurant, which gave him even more exposure for building his customer base as he developed his secret recipe of 11 herbs and spices. He even added a motel to the business. Between the years of 1940 and 1950, Harland was dubbed the Kentucky Colonel by the governor of the state of Kentucky in recognition of his unique cooking skills. It was during this period that Harland patented his original recipe, and Sanders Court and Cafe, located in the town of Corbin, Kentucky, was a hit among travelers and locals alike. Now let us bring into the mix the law of agency. This law operates independently from our best intentions or practices. It affects the young and the old, rich and poor. It knows no boundaries. The law of agency was at work when interest rates rose to 21% during the 1980s, right at the peak of my home building career. It was impossible to continue for very long under those constraints. For Harland Sanders, it would be progress, but not the kind one might think. The same traveler who couldn't get enough Kentucky Fried Chicken also couldn't get to his Florida destination fast enough, and the construction of a new interstate bypassing the little town of Corbin, Kentucky, proved to be a financial disaster to the popular Sanders Court and Cafe, causing Harland to sell his business and retire. Well, when we're faced with trial, we generally have two choices. We can move forward or move backward. There is no standing still, folks. If we let the trial dominate us, we will most certainly move backward. And if we can muster the courage to move forward, using the very agency which put the trial in front of us, perhaps altering our life forever, we can also open the door to opportunity. We can win. When Harland Sanders received his first Social Security check, and with it the realization that it wasn't sufficient to provide a living, he faced those two choices just mentioned. He chose to move forward with what he knew: how to cook chicken. He took a chance and hit the road, using the proceeds from the sale of his restaurant to try to sell his delicious recipe to restaurant business owners across the United States. The Harland Sanders story is well known. It is used by motivational speakers worldwide to show the benefits of persistence, overcoming discouragement, the law of numbers, etc. It took over 1,000 presentations, often at the expense of being laughed at, to finally convince South Salt Lake, Utah resident Pete Harmon to partner with him. Together, they launched the first Kentucky Fried Chicken site in 1952, and the rest is history. What might have happened to Harland Sanders if his restaurant business had not failed? Would he have been sufficiently motivated to put in those long hours of travel and face 1,000 discouraging responses before he found the one man who would believe in him? If he had been operating a successful restaurant with a comfortable income, would he have dug deeper to his very core to extract a dream and pay the price necessary to see it through? When I tried desperately to find work for 2 years following the collapse of the retail development industry, I wasn't prepared for the reaction of society to an older person who still wanted to work, grow, and keep developing himself to share learned skills with others. Society wanted no part of that. Lines had been drawn, policies written, and attitudes formed. How in the world was I going to climb over this one, I asked. Again, two choices presented themselves. I could stop growing, which meant moving backward, or I could choose to move forward and engage Heavenly Father in my quest, not just to survive, but to grow and prosper, to win. I chose the latter. I decided to enlist my Father in heaven and his resources to help me discover the hidden talents and gifts that still lay dormant beneath this aging exterior and move forward. I reluctantly and cautiously returned to my roots of selling residential real estate in 2011, placing myself in the hands of Jesus Christ to do his will wherever he needed me. I found that he needed me to represent fairness on behalf of homeowners who were being forced out of their homes by their lenders. I dug in, became a certified negotiator on behalf of my client base, and found myself once again building from the ashes a successful and prosperous real estate business, and have been one of the top 10 producers of the company I am still licensed with, even coming in as number one for individual production a few times, as I did in 2022, as I began my 52nd year of full-time real estate. And I show no signs of stopping as I write this book. Trial often becomes a catalyst for success when one's ability to dream is not sufficient or passionate enough to carry the vision of success forward. If we, as earthly parents, can have a vision of whom our children can become, is it not as feasible to believe that a loving heavenly parent could also have such a vision for their spiritual offspring? Because he knew the benefits of trial in our lives would far outweigh any price we would pay, our loving Heavenly Father created this earth and everything within and allowed agency to preside and Satan to tempt and to try us so that we could become all that we could be in this life as we prepared ourselves for the next, with this one safety net covering each and every one of his children. God will never give us more trial than we are capable of handling. Satan will only have the power to tempt us and try us, but we have the power to overcome his crafty persuasions by using our agency. It may seem like the end of life as we know it at the time we're going through a trial, but in hindsight, having moved forward in terms of space and time, somehow we got through it and survived. And maybe, just maybe, if we dug deep enough, we might see a twig of growth within ourselves stemming from the trial. More evidence that all life's experiences are and can be for our good. Think of a particular trial you experienced in the past and try to remember the point at which you felt time standing still, a heaviness crushing down upon you that took away even the attempt at breathing in a "my life will never be the same" trial. Wasn't there a time during that trial season, during the eye of the trial, perhaps when you realized God had not left you to face this trial alone? Oftentimes that sure knowledge comes after we stumble through the angry tears of loss and disappointment, only to find ourselves kneeling in prayer, calling upon our Father in heaven to take away the hurt, to heal the broken heart, and restore that which was lost. He answers by sending his Spirit as a calm assurance that he is near, his arms outstretched to welcome our sacrifice of a broken heart and a contrite spirit. God sent his Son to pay for your sins and to mine, to absorb your hurts, your disappointments, and your losses. If you will but accept his gift, surrender your heart, and lay aside your bitterness and disappointment, knowing Christ has paid the ultimate price for you. It is then you will fully and completely taste the sweetness of trial as it encompasses your entire being. Now let's bring it back to what might lie ahead for us if we can shed the dark blanket of discouragement and depression and look upward for strength to move forward, reinventing ourselves. No matter what society would define as our last remaining years, I choose to believe I haven't even become yet. Do you see how easy it is to become passionate over a cause you didn't even know you had? Agency allows us to pursue causes we are passionate about, but following passion with reckless abandon may lead us into the camp of trial. And it is with that journey, however, that we will discover amazing things about ourselves and perhaps uncover talents that lay dormant or unrealized until called upon. Life as we know it today could change in an instant with the formation of an idea, a phone call, a prayer, or even a knock at the door. Are you prepared for what may come? Well, my brothers and sisters, we've ended that episode 6 with 4 parts. I hope that as you reflect back on choice and the nature of choice and the purpose of choice, understand that exercising choice causes us to grow, and also understanding and beginning to understand the significance of trial in your life to help you become really who you were destined to be, who you were foreordained to be, who you were as a spirit, and now you are and can be even greater as a mortal, working your way through mortality. In our next segment, we'll have episode 7, and we'll start that episode on page 71. And the title is Enduring Trial, Waiting Upon the Lord. I hope that this has been worth your time today. Again, you know that you can order the Sweetness of Trial book from Amazon.com, the book section. search in the book for the book title or just add by Charles P. Malone to it. Or you can go to the Facebook page, facebook.com/I Just Write It. Scroll to the post that has the links to all the current and future books and this podcast. And I hope that'll keep you in touch as we kind of move through the last half of this book, The Sweetness of Trial. I'll see you in episode 7. Have a blessed day. My friends, thank you so much for spending your time with me today in discussing the sweetness of trial. Please join me in future episodes as we learn how to not only endure trial, but to win from it, as we continue our journey through my book, The Sweetness of Trial.